Hi, everyone. Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. My next guest is a talented comedian all the way from Toronto, Canada. His name's John Morley. How you
Hey,
doing?
Teresa. Thanks so much for having me on. Doing very
My
well today.
Great. I'm glad to hear it. So we're happy to hear from you. Let's see what you got, John.
Okay, I started comedy about 9 years ago. After my first year, I moved to Toronto and I started just telling little jokes. Sometimes it's complete fabrication, other times it's like stuff that I'll observe. It's a great city to observe people and try and craft a story or a joke about that. I am from North Bay originally, so it's about 3.5 hours from Toronto. And I guess what kind of got me started and interested in the entertainment and art world is it's tough being from North Bay when you're not a sports guy, not really. I don't know anything about sports besides the most basic stuff. I come from a long line of sports people. My grandfather got a scholarship for playing hockey, started a sportswear business. My dad followed in his footsteps, playing ultimate frisbee, not really as cool, but still cool enough. But it wasn't my cup of tea. But it's like at this age, now I'm 33, I just want to be able to relate to men my own age. Like the other day, I was in a bar and I was hanging out and I see this gentleman and he's got this really nice San Jose Sharks jacket on. And so I go and I start a conversation with him. I'm like, man, that's a really cool Sharks jacket you have. And he's like, yeah, have you been following McEnroyanson? He's got 25 goals and offside this year. It's, I'm just like, no, man, I just think sharks are cool. Sorry, I'm still standing by it. I live in Toronto. I don't even own a basketball. I just want to be able to wear a t-shirt with a dinosaur on it and not be socially ostracized, okay? Like the Raptors. So it's stuff like that. You learn to just get along and make stuff up to just relate to other people. Comedy is a very fun industry, and if you don't know about Canadian comedy, it's a difficult industry to break out of because it's just we face so much competition from our cousins down south, and they get a lot more of the spotlight, both obviously abroad and sometimes even here, like with the big festivals that happen. It's going to be a lot of you're going to know the American comics on there, but there's going to be a bunch, dozens of really just as talented Canadian comedians. But because of that, you have to branch out. I branch out too. I branch out. I'm getting into this is a new field for me, is app development. I'm getting into the app development world and I realize like that there's a hole in the market. So I'm starting a new app. It's called Smell Check.
Smell check?
Yeah, it works exactly like spell check, because it tells you how you smell. So far, all we have is a timer. It's just a 24-hour timer. It goes off and it says, brush your teeth.
I love it.
We're going to say it's AI generated, but it's a lie. It's a lie. It's app development. I don't know. Yeah, I have day jobs too. A lot of the comedians that you'll meet, like they do comedy in the evening and the nights, but they have to do something to help pay the bills in the daytime. So for me, I got a new job recently. I'm now the DJ at Sephora.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, all I know about makeup is the word mascara. I don't even actually play music. The laptop is fake. It's like the laptops at Best Buy. There's no connection to anything. I just stand there and nod my head and try to upsell, I guess.
That'll help.
Yeah. So the thing that I was talking about, sometimes you can generate interesting stories through living in Toronto, and that happened to me one time as well. More than one time, but one that always like I always remember is I'm outside of a comedy event. I probably performed or I'm waiting to perform, and I'm just like making small talk with people outside as you do when you're a smoker. At the time, anyways, I was smoking. So you're chatting with people, and I remember this one guy, and I'll never forget him because he had this, I don't know, I want to call it a cowboy jacket, but it was like a very nice leather jacket that had those tassels along the arm. So it's like he stood out and he was seemed normal enough. When I started the conversation, and we're chatting, making some small talk, and this is probably like 22, summer 22. So things were still a little post-COVID-y. In fact, pretty much still even happening. It was probably just in the midst of another lockdown cycle. And somehow the conversation turns and the guy looks me dead in the eye and he says, yeah, I ate two pigeons off the ground. And Toronto's like that. Toronto's like that. You'll think you're safe talking to somebody, and then something like that comes up, and you realize, oh no, I'm in danger right now. He's no, 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 listen, no, it's fine. I saw a hawk kill three pigeons. And he only took one pigeon, so I went and stole the two pigeons off the ground that the hawk didn't eat. And I'm just like, all right, he's no, don't worry. And like my first instinct to tell him was like, I don't know if I would eat a pigeon just because of the diseases, and then they eat a lot of garbage. And he's like, no, once you get them open up, you see right in there what they've been eating. And I'm like, okay, the danger level's rising is what I'm thinking in my head. I'm just trying to be polite with this guy, not show how terrified I am, but he's got the ability to field dress a pigeon. I'm sorry, he might have a knife. We don't know. We don't know. And it carries on, it carries on. I'm skeptical. And he's, no, listen, man, it was COVID. It was COVID. I needed the protein. And I'm pretty sure the grocery stores were open the whole time, man. But you do. I wish I would have tried to make that story into like a on stage bit, but it lacks some of the meat and potatoes of it. But God, it just cracks me up when I think about it. And that's an honest to God, 100% true story. Everything else, total baloney that I've said, as far as the reality of it. I don't actually work at Sephora, but that is a real story. I'll do one more. I'll do one more joke. It's like in the vein of Toronto and its various in its ecology, we'll say it. Much app development and the prospect of the day job at Sephora. I've got other plans, other pots in the fire. I'm thinking of opening a local business in Toronto because there's no better way to secure your financial future than paying retail space rent in Toronto, I think. That's going to guarantee my life. So I'm opening this new one, this new business called Toronto Pigeon Cafe. Not Cafe Pigeon, not Cafe Pigeon Bar, Toronto, okay, the 3.5-star fine dining restaurant. No, Toronto Pigeon Cafe. What we have, just think of it like a cat cafe, but with pigeons. We're focused mostly on the live animals flying around. It's very interactive experience. One thing I will say, do not order the bread. Do not. We cannot keep the feces out of the bread. There's no physical way to do it. It's an art installation, so that's the only way we can get away with it is it's Toronto Pigeon Cafe. A lot of my jokes are really silly businesses that will never exist in reality. But yeah, that's kind of my style of humor, just whether it's just like little quick clippy things or little light stories or just complete cartoonishly absurd scenarios like the Pigeon Cafe.
John, it's funny stuff. You're
Thank
doing
you. Thank you.
good. Now,
Appreciate
how
it.
did
Thank
you
you.
get into doing comedy work? So what got you into that? Because it takes a special, funny stuff. You've got good material.
Thank you.
So what got you going? What were you doing before this?
I'll say that I was a fan of stand-up comedy and obviously comedic acting from a very young age, but I didn't really ever consider it as something that I could do until I was about 20 years old and I was traveling in Europe. I was backpacking alone. And at the time, I was convinced that I'd be a musician. And so I was carrying a guitar around everywhere. I learned the first 45 seconds of at least 11 different songs. Okay. So I was very convincing as a musician, but not actually skilled enough to learn a whole song or read music or do anything. I can play a few instruments passively. If there's nobody else around that actually knows how to play music, then, I'm good. But so I was doing that and I was traveling alone. I just dropped the nib off my stylus here. So that's useless now. So I was traveling and I started listening to podcasts on the internet and I felt like I was looking for some entertainment. So I started listening to some comedy podcasts. Really popular comedy podcaster. You've pretty much all heard about him, but with the politics lately, I don't want to plug it, but I'm sure you can guess who it was. The only one that everyone in the world knows. And at the time, there was not, this was, again, I'm 33 now, so this was over a decade ago. It wasn't as politicized as it was now. It was just the podcaster as a comedian and his comedian guests. And I just realized like I related to their attitudes and how they like what they got out of it. And then I decided to start comedy when I got back to Canada. Tried it out at Comedy Monday Nights, run by James Moore in Calgary, Alberta. Fantastic event. And I've just been hooked ever since. So I lived in Calgary when I started comedy, I was living in Calgary from Ontario originally. But so I did it there for a year and I met some comedians from Toronto who just told me that this was a promised land for getting more practice. Because in Calgary at the time, you could practice comedy about once a week, if you're really lucky, once every 2 weeks consistently, which because the shows were very good quality, it was nice, but it's not as good of an environment to grow the skill set as it is in Toronto, where you can practice pretty much on a nightly basis here. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Toronto has, and they have different organizations that promote the comedians. Are you part of any of those circuits, John?
Not officially, like I participate in some of them, and I definitely know a lot of the producers, and I've produced a couple of events myself, and collaborated with other comedians slash producers on making some stuff happen. I'm not really part of any official groups, more so like independent contractor of events and stuff because like I don't have a brand name per se for the events that I run, but I've worked with a couple businesses. I've been producing an open mic in an Italian restaurant for 3.5 years now. We have a really great relationship, and it's hopefully in the next couple months going to evolve into something with a little bit more going on than just comedy. I'm going to start like doing a trivia event there. A lot of comedians also do other events in bars and stuff to just A, make a little bit of extra money because those events are pretty lucrative at times. And B, the caveat of running an event before or after a comedy show is the idea is we kind of trick some people into staying and watching the free event that we have after.
I understand that. So when you do the circuit, so you were out west, I understand that. I listened to what you said there, and that's good. And you do in Toronto as well. Where are you? Are you stationed out of Toronto basically now?
Oh yeah. I think I live in the annex now. I just moved recently from
Oh,
Davenport, where I lived before there. Davenport and Oakwood was my old neighborhood, right by the restaurant Salto Italian bar and restaurant there on the
I
Davenport and
know the
Ossington.
area.
But yeah, no. Most of the stuff I do is downtown, as I don't really drive. Occasionally, when I can, I'll hit anything in the GTA that's available when I can carpool with other comedians, or if it's a worthwhile show, I'll take the GO train or something. I just actually did a really awesome show in Severn Bridge, Wishago, in a place called Blue Moon Junction, produced by a guy named Michael Eddy. He's putting on a really great events out there. I don't know if you've ever driven like the highway, like going north to North Bay or Sudbury that way, but there's this really cool like restaurant and bar right on the highway with those like big tall ceilings in cottage country all the time. It's a
I
really
know the one you
wonderful
mean.
venue. So it's like stuff like that I'm always very excited to do, but mostly just stuff in Toronto. A lot of open mics,
Sure.
occasionally doing the comedy club when it's available, and then the process of doing professional spots versus the amateur spots is it's just a matter of dealing with a lot of rejection, no matter who you are, I think. Unless you are on the top tier, the best 1% of the comedians, it's a bit of a struggle. You have to do a lot of cold calling, a lot of coming in as a new person to new producers, and just getting in queue with all the other comedians because there's probably 150 people in Toronto trying to do comedy and with only let's say 50 spots a week. So it's just competition in that regard.
Okay, so my thought is, John, a lot of the comedians that are out there right now really are looking at exposure, getting into organizations. What about online? Now that we have the online world, does
Mm.
that open up a lot for you?
Oh, massively. Excuse me. Once again, I'm very gassy all of a sudden, especially like for everybody in the entertainment world, the online sphere is the golden ticket to being able to jump the queue from other comedians because with an online presence, you can sell tickets yourself,
Right.
and you don't necessarily need to rely on the club network or another producer. If you have a successful internet presence, then you can dictate the terms yourself. So it's a huge advantage. Anybody that's trying to do comedy or any entertainment that's completely ignoring the online space is taking a misstep, I think, because it's super lucrative. But again, it's extremely challenging, and I'm sure you'll start building an audience. And in fact, there's a couple local comedians like Alex DeWitt is really starting to take off on Instagram because he's got some just great content that he puts out. He's getting up into the tens of thousands of followers. I think Matt Pazitsky also has a really great content creation. So he does like skits and stuff on TikTok and Instagram. And he also has a podcast. And then yeah, he's then boom. So he's able to just sell tickets to his own events. And now he doesn't need to get in the queue with everybody else. He can just do his own thing. And that's really the dream.
I
Myself,
actually saw, John, I saw a few comedians. I actually did not see them on television. I saw them online. There was Nate Bargatze, and she was doing very well, and Leanne Morgan. Both
oh,
I never saw on television. I only saw them on YouTube. And then the reels came up with them. So
yes.
that's why I was asking you. And I know that they do podcasts like I'm doing with you. I know they do that. And so the build up for that the promotions that you're getting, and I'm certainly hoping I can help you today too, is bringing your name forward. That's the way to do it, right?
Absolutely, yes. And although I'm slacking in constructing my content sphere online, just as I'm in school right now and also doing comedy and trying to
Oh,
like make
sure.
ends meet. So I
And
haven't.
I understand that. I just
Mhm.
meant that as you go on, those are definitely avenues
Oh,
to
absolutely.
think about. And you, as I said, you have great. Do you write your own material? Do you write your
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you have talent for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, and it's something that I look forward to working on, especially this summer, I think, as I'll be wrapping up with school in April.
Yeah.
And then that's going to open up my weekly schedule a lot of time because like you really have to work at it with anything that you're trying to build up. Obviously, it takes a lot of work, but with comedy, like if you're trying to make the comical content, you have to be making new stuff every single day, and
I,
that takes a lot of time.
I agree with you, and I want to commend you for going to school because you
Thank you.
obviously know that you have to have an education. And so in order to, and you can still go on to be the great comedian you want to be, but I do commend you for staying in school and getting your education. That's the most important for you right now.
It's actually a comedy and writing program, so I wouldn't bank too much on it
But
in
you
that
know what
regard.
you're
But yeah,
earning.
no, I am, and I'm
Earning.
having a great time. I'm going to Humber, which I don't know if you've heard of, but it's like they have a comedy program there that's fused with the Yuck Yucks Comedy Club, and it's been giving me some really awesome learning opportunities and chances to just meet lots of great people in the program. All the instructors are great. Most
Yeah,
of my classmates are great, so it's been very positive.
it's a great school. Well
Mhm.
done.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I'm,
So I have another question for you.
Mhm.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'd like to still be in Toronto. I'd like to be doing more things on the road. But no, I'm pretty happy here. I get a lot out of the city. I love it here. I love the people. I love the energy of the city, even though I'm more of a small town person. I really like just the feeling when you go out, you're always around other people, which has its negatives too, absolutely. But for the most part, it's really great. And there's all kinds of different people here. And there's a lot of opportunities for comedy here. Really, it's
Beautiful.
probably the best place in the country. Although Calgary right now is really awesome. The past couple of years in Calgary, it's developed into, like I was saying before, you could do a comedy once a week as a newcomer. Now, easily like 5 times a week, you can practice, and they have two comedy clubs there as well, and a lot of really lucrative road work there because there's just not as it's quite spread out there compared to here. Anyways, work in Calgary, you can go to Edmonton, you can go down to Medicine Hat, you can go through to BC, a lot of really good avenues. But 5 years, I'd like to be here. I'd like to be affiliated with one of the clubs, and I'm in that process of it's like an auditioning process when you're trying to get a job in a comedy club. You have to go and perform on specific nights. And as you get a certain level of consistency, they start giving you things called showcases. And then that's like your audition night. And it's still stand-up comedy for an audience, but then the owners in the club and the all of the talent agents and such are there as well, judging you. And then that's the process. And I'll be on that circuit for a while I improve. But yeah, no, I'd love to be affiliated with a club, still working here. Honestly, very comfortable in Toronto. And I'm not one of like when I first started, it was about chasing the fame and finding you don't think about it at 20 when you're starting to do it. But as I've been doing a long time, I realized like it's just about finding like a healthy outlet for my crippling need for attention. And I get that here. So I
One of
don't,
the clubs that I was in recently was the Jokers Club up in
oh
Richmond
yeah,
Hill.
Joker's is great.
Have
Yeah,
you
really
played
great
there?
club.
That's a really good one.
I haven't yet, but I know a lot of people that have, and it's not, it's for lack of trying, actually. I just haven't really applied. Again, because I don't drive, so that one's a little bit tricky for me to get to
Yeah.
if I'm not going with somebody else. But no, I've only heard great things about that space, except for that fire they had. That was unfortunate, but I think that's all. I think they've renovated all that damage now.
Found them to be quite cordial. It was great. They had comedians like yourself up there and
Oh
doing
yeah.
a great job. And I thought, boy, that's really good of them. I'm out east of Toronto. I'm out Oshawa way. We do have our own comedy
Hmm.
places as well. And they do try. They really try to help
Oh yeah.
you comedians grow. So whatever we can do to help you along the way, John. So I
Hmm.
have another question for you.
Okay.
Will you come back again and see us again?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Anytime. I would love to. And I'm just totally enjoying the experience. Um,
Good.
Oshawa is great too. It's got the Yuck Yucks there, and then like stuff like Crazy Jacks, and
Yeah.
there's some new cool stuff that's kind of coming around there as well, which is really nice. And then a lot of my friends are actually from Oshawa, and they come to the city and
Yeah,
start to
Oshawa is a
commute in.
great place. I've been here a long time. And so, yeah, when you're in Oshawa, I'll have to come to your show. So,
Absolutely.
100%. In fact, we'll tell them on here you're coming to Oshawa. So then we can,
Actually, yeah, so are we wrapping here? Because do you have some stuff I could plug for Oshawa actually?
you
Because
go right ahead. But here's what I want you to do.
Mhm.
You can go ahead and plug it, but tell us if you're going to be at any upcoming shows, where you're going to be.
I will. Okay, I will drop my plugs now. So you
Go
can see
ahead.
me at Yuck Yucks, Richmond Hill on April 1st. It
Perfect.
is the Humber Comedian Showcase Night. It is the big deal, the culmination of 2 years of effort for all of the students in my year. So it's not just going to be me, but it's a number of other really talented young people that are going through that program. And that's our big night with all the industry there. And Mark Breslin will be in the club, and it's still only $5 tickets. So absolutely, if you're free in downtown Toronto. Check that out on April 1st. It's not a prank, but it will be funny. One thing, because besides that, I didn't have any of my own events to plug besides that showcase, but that's not just me. And when I was listening to your episode with Brick David, which is very funny, and I love Brick, by the way,
He's
I
great.
heard you mention that you're from Oshawa, and I thought, oh, a little light went on in my head. My friend, Evan Wunderlich, is from Oshawa as well. And they're currently in the process of filming a TV show for Bell 5 TV. And it's
Oh, well,
called,
maybe we can have
yeah,
him on the show.
I will give you his contact information. He is available. They're still filming, and it's called Are You Laughing Yet? The
Where's
show
he filming, John?
in Oshawa. It's
Oh,
actually
right
like
in
basically
Oshawa. Oh,
showcasing
thank
a
you.
lot of like local Oshawa stuff, which is fun.
Oh,
So the way he described the show to me is basically like a combination of Seinfeld and the show Jackass. If you
oh,
really like it.
okay.
And the concept is like Evan goes in to learn a skill set from somebody, and then they film that, and then they film him using the skill set, and then also splice in a little bit of his comedy that he's written about the stuff. And he has a taping for this TV show coming up on this Wednesday, March 26th, in Oshawa at the We Pub at 7 p.m. It's a free show, and they're just taping for this television thing. And I don't know, I thought, oh, you're from Oshawa. He's an Oshawa local. He's a peer of mine through the Humber program. And yeah, he's gonna be on TV. Just wanted to plug his
Wonderful.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Happy to promote them. And
Mhm,
I'm really happy to promote you. So so we know where your shows are coming. When
mhm.
you're next in Oshawa, for sure, let me know because
I will reach out.
we'll have
Yes.
you ahead of time and talk to you about it. And
Awesome.
I also want to have you back on the show, John.
Awesome.
You're
Thank you,
very
Teresa.
talented. And
Oh, come on.
yeah, no, you are. It's my pleasure to have you on today. And I appreciate you talked about the comedic world because I know you could have taken up more time doing your comedy, but you were very gracious and talked to us about that. And that's good to know for any other comedians that might be interested. So that was
Oh,
really
yes.
good of you.
I love talking about comedy. Just talking shop is probably my favorite thing. And I would love to come back on. And if I were to come back, I would love to speak more to you about like maybe there's people that are watching that are interested in trying it out. And oh boy, could I tell you, like from the beginning up to where before you're getting signed to a club, I know all about that sphere of it right up there. Like everything
Perfect.
from starting out to being a pro, I've got
Let's make
right
that the
before that.
whole episode.
Yeah, no, I would love to. I have a lot of good insight, and Toronto's probably one of the best places in the world to
Wonderful.
start doing stand-up comedy because it's just so much access. The people are really good. And generally, I would say that the scene itself is very friendly and welcoming to people that are not bad people. You always get with the open mic world, anybody could walk in off the street and just sign up their name to most of these shows. So sometimes you get wild childs, we'll call them, when they can cause problems, but
Yeah.
that's less than 1% of the community. The rest is just we're all having fun and doing our stuff, trying to grow our profiles and just get out and practice. And that's what it's about.
And it's nice to have the camaraderie while you're growing, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that I mean there's definitely different cliques in the world. It's just like anywhere, any other community, but most of the people are really kind to newcomers. And probably one of my favorite things besides like the rush of performing successfully is just I love being able to go to one of these events, like any comedy event, give or take, and like I just run into people that I know, and that's the most fun, and I'm comfortable there with them, and I can chit chat with everybody. I love that. It feels like very welcoming, but at the same time, I can leave that event and I'd never have to see those people if I don't want to. I could just come home to my apartment and be away from everybody. I get my whole dose of socializing out of it. I get my energy from the performing, and then I come home and I chill, which is wonderful.
John, I think that's terrific. You've got you're gonna, I'm happy for you. You're gonna go
Thank you,
far in life.
Teresa. Thank you so much.
So
That's so kind.
absolutely. So I thank you. I want you to come back. We want to know
Absolutely.
all, I'm going to put all your shows, all your information. I'm going
Okay.
to get all of that put on here. Do you have do you have a YouTube channel? Did we establish that?
I have one, but I just basically use it to privately host some of my tapes so that when I submit for shows that people don't know me on, I can send them a link to that. But yeah, that wouldn't be, they'll get to you demonetize some of the stuff. So wouldn't be super appropriate for it yet. But soon,
Okay.
coming soon. For next episode that I'm on, I'll have better plugs and I can link you to my content world as I begin it, besides just the stand-up stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll make sure, so when we're done here, I'll make sure all your information's here for everyone. You'll be able to reach out to John in all his social media channels. We'll make sure that we have all of this will be going on as well onto YouTube, so you'll be able to see it. John,
Awesome.
thank you so much for coming today. I truly appreciated it and I enjoyed meeting you. You've got some real talent there, my
Thank you.
friend.
I enjoyed meeting you as well. Thank you so much, Teresa. It's been a
Thank
wonderful time.
you. Absolutely. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries, Teresa Aker from Success Diaries. Please subscribe to my channel. I hope you're having a great day and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye.